The Palace and Park of Versailles stand as one of the most opulent and historically significant landmarks in the world. Located just 20 kilometers southwest of Paris, this grand estate was transformed from a royal hunting lodge into the political and cultural heart of France under the reign of Louis XIV, the Sun King. Today, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a global icon of absolute monarchy, classical architecture, and artistic brilliance. Construction of the current palace began in 1661, when Louis XIV sought to centralize his power and distance the monarchy from the political unrest of Paris. What emerged over the next few decades was an architectural marvel, with sweeping colonnades, gilded salons, and mirrored halls that reflected both sunlight and power. At its peak, the Palace of Versailles housed thousands of courtiers, nobles, and servants in a carefully controlled environment that revolved entirely around the king's will. The most famous space within the palace is the Hall of Mirrors, Galerie de Glace, a breathtaking 73-meter-long gallery lined with 357 mirrors, 17 windows, and ornate chandeliers. It was here in 1919 that the Treaty of Versailles was signed, officially ending World War I. But the room's original function was to showcase the glory of Louis XIV, with mirrors reflecting the opulence of the gardens and architecture outside. The state apartments, royal chapel, and opera house are equally lavish, decorated with ceiling frescoes, sculptures, and fine tapestries that celebrate Greek and Roman mythology, Christian themes, and the divine right of kings. Every detail of the palace was meant to exalt the monarchy, combining Baroque design with strategic symbolism. Architects like Jules Hardouin-Mansart and artists like Charles Lebrun played key roles in crafting this vision of royal perfection. Yet the Palace of Versailles is not only remarkable for its buildings. The park and gardens, covering over 800 hectares, are a triumph of landscape design. Created by André Lenotre, the gardens feature geometrically arranged lawns, grand fountains, sculpted groves, and the famous Grand Canal. The fountains themselves are engineering marvels, fed by an elaborate hydraulic system built in the 17th century. Seasonal musical fountain shows still draw visitors today, reviving the grandeur of court life in the time of Louis XIV. Within the park lie two other important estates, the Grand Trianon and the Petit Trianon. These smaller palaces provided private retreats for members of the royal family, especially Queen Marie Antoinette, who used the Petit Trianon and her nearby mock village, the Hameau de la Reine, to escape the rigid protocols of court life. These spaces reflect a more intimate and romantic side of Versailles, contrasting sharply with the palace's formality. The French Revolution in 1789 marked the end of Versailles as a royal residence, and many of its furnishings were sold off. However, under Napoleon and later French governments, efforts were made to preserve and restore the site. Today, the Château de Versailles is a museum dedicated to the history of France, welcoming over 10 million visitors annually. The Palace and Park of Versailles are more than just relics of a bygone era. They are enduring symbols of artistic excellence, political ambition, and human achievement. Their influence can be seen in palaces across Europe and beyond, and their legacy continues to captivate generations with their splendor and complexity. Versailles remains a living masterpiece, where the grandeur of France's royal past still echoes through its halls and gardens.